Hi friends, so this is going to be our day 6. So for day 6, we're going to go back to the very beginning of the year when we talked about bar graphs and pictographs. So for today, our I can statement is, I can analyze data presented in a bar graph or a pictograph. Alright, so to begin, I've given us this example of a bar graph. Remember, bar graphs have bars that present our data, okay? So the first thing that I like to do, or that I have taught my class, is to analyze the graph first before answering the question. So I'm going to zoom in here, and I'm going to read or try to understand what my graph is talking about. So the part right here says, Good Time pizza makers are best at making pizzas with 6 different toppings. They took a survey about customers' favorite toppings and recorded the results in a bar graph below. Use the bar graph to answer the questions. Okay, so the title of our bar graph is Favorite Pizza Toppings. So that lets us know that the data collected in this graph is talking about favorite pizza toppings. It's not talking about favorite toys, favorite subjects. It's talking about favorite pizza toppings. Now, on the side, we know that our numbers represent the total number of votes that topping received, okay? So if we go down here to the bottom, we see that tomato is our first favorite pizza topping. Well, how many people liked tomato? If I go over here and look at my scale, it says 50. So how many people like tomato topping as their favorite? 50. I've taught my class to write 50 above the bar graph so it's easier to understand and analyze as you're answering your questions. I'm going to move on to pepper. So if I go up on my bar, I notice that pepper falls between 100 and 150. I can tell you that our scale is counting by 25. So 50, 75, 100, 125, 150, 175, 200, 225, 250, 275, 300, 325, 350. So how many people like pepper? 125. All right, let's look at onion. If I follow my graph all the way up, I can see that onion is at 200. So I'm going to write 200 above my bar graph. Pepperoni. Pepperoni seems to have the most people that voted for it. How many people was pepperoni a favorite for? 325. Bacon, 150. And mushroom is sitting at 250. So one of the strategies that I really like to use is writing your numbers above your bars so it is easier to analyze as you're answering the questions. All right, let's move to our questions. Number 1 says, which is the most popular topping? So I'm going to go back up to my graph and I'm going to look. Which one had the most people vote for it? Well, this one's very obvious. Pepperoni has the biggest bar, so it means that it has the most people that voted for it. So my answer for number 1 is pepperoni. All right, number 2. How many customers have chosen either tomato or pepper topping? So it wants to know how many chose either of those. So I'm looking at 2 different toppings. So I'm looking at tomato, which is 50, and pepper, which is 125. Now, I want to figure out how many chose either of those. So what I'm going to do is add them together to get my answer. 5 plus 0 is 5. 5 plus 2 is 7. 1 plus 0 is 1. So 175 people chose either tomato or pepper. Now, the next question. If 75 more customers prefer bacon, which one will top the chart, bacon or onion? So if 75 more customers chose bacon, so how many chose bacon right now is 150. I want to know what would happen if 75 more people chose that. So if I'm talking about more, I'm adding to the total that I already have. 0 plus 5 is 5. 7 plus 5 is 12. 1 plus 1 is 2. So 225 people would like bacon if 75 people chose more. But that's not what my question's asking. It's saying which one will top the chart, bacon or onion. Well, if 75 people more like bacon, that's 225. Onion's sitting at 200. So who had more? Bacon. Question number 4, which topping has 250 votes? I'm going to go up here, and this makes it super easy because you've already done the hard work of writing your numbers above your bars. Which one is sitting at 250 votes? That's right, mushroom. So your answer is mushroom. And our last question for our bar graph. List the toppings in order from most popular to least popular. So in other words, the favorite to the least favorite. Well, it's very clear to see that pepperoni is our favorite, so it is the most popular. And I'm going to abbreviate. Then if I come back up to my bar, what is the next most popular? Mushroom. After mushroom, it looks like onion. And after onion, bacon. Then pepper. And then tomato is our least popular. That means that the least amount of people like tomato. And that is it for your bar graph. You will have one that you need to work on by yourself in just a little bit. Remember, use your strategies. Make sure you're understanding what your bar graph is referring to. In this case, it's talking about favorite pizza toppings. Make sure you're writing your numbers that you receive after analyzing your scale on top of your bar graph to make answering your questions easier and save you some time in the future. All right, we're going to move on to pictographs. So remember pictographs, it's important to understand that a pictograph uses pictures, and not always will a picture represent one. You have to make sure that you are analyzing the key in order to understand what the picture represents. So in this pictograph, a fish, it's a little blurry, but we can work through it. One fish is really equal to 6 fish, okay? So what I've taught my class to do is go ahead and write 6 on all of those fish so you don't forget that it's not 1, it's actually 6. The next strategy, let's look right here. In this last one, we see that we don't have a full fish, we have half of a fish. So what it's saying is that this fish is really half of what one fish equals. So if one fish equals 6, what's half of 6, or what's 6 divided by 2? And that is 3. So half of a fish really equals 3. All right, the next step that I've taught my class to do is go ahead and write the number or the total beside your person, okay? So for example, how many fish did Michael really catch? Well, we could do 6 plus 6 plus 6. What is 6 plus 6? 12. 12 plus 6, 18. Or we could multiply 6 times 3. 6 times 3 is 18. Remember, repeated addition is just a strategy for multiplication, okay? So how many fish did Michael really catch? Not 3, but 18. And I'm going to write that beside my pictures. Let's figure out Emily. I could repeatedly add 6 plus 6 plus 6 plus 6 plus 6. But I know that since repeated addition is the same as multiplication, it's a strategy for multiplication, I'm going to go ahead and multiply. Each fish represents 6 times how many pictures do I have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 times 6 is 36. So Emily has caught 36 fish. Also remember to analyze your title. So number of fish caught. Jose, again, we could do 6 plus 6. I'm going to use multiplication. 6 times 2. 6 times 2 is 12. Let's check Jennifer. I could add 6 plus 6 plus 6 plus 6 plus 6 plus 6, or I'm going to use multiplication. 6 for each fish times how many fish? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 6 times 7 is 42. So Jennifer has caught 42, and I'm going to write it here since I ran out of room. And last but not least is Kevin. Now Kevin's a little different because he had a half fish, and we've already determined that half of a fish represented 3. So it's going to be 6 plus 6 plus 3. What's 6 plus 6? 12 plus 3 is 15. So I now know how many fish each person caught, and I should be ready to go to start answering my questions. Okay? How many fish did Michael catch? Well, I'm going to come up here. I'm going to go to Michael, and I've already done all the hard work, so it should be easy to answer. Michael has caught 18 fish. How many fish did Emily catch? Again, I'm going to look. 36. How many fish did Kevin catch? 15. You see how we've already done all that hard work, and now it's easy to answer the questions. How many more fish did Emily catch than Jane? Well, how many did Emily catch? 36. And how many did Jose, not Jane, sorry. How many did Jose catch? 12. Who caught more? Emily caught more, but we want to know how many more. So if I want to know how many more, I'm going to subtract. I could use base 10 blocks to help me solve, but I'm going to go ahead and just subtract. 6 minus 2 is 4. 3 minus 1 is 2. So my answer is 24. How many fish did the girls catch? So I'm going to add all the girls up. I'm going to come over here. I'm going to insert a new page real quick, and I'm going to flip back and forth. So the girls would be Emily. Emily caught 36. And Jennifer caught 42. So if I want to know how many fish these two caught, the two girls caught, what am I going to do? Well, I'm going to put their fish together. I'm going to figure out the total. So I'm going to add. All right, I'm going to use base 10 blocks over here. 10s, 3 10s, 6 1s, 4 10s, and 2 1s. What do I always add first? That's right, my 1s. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And 10s. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So how many fish did the girls catch? 78. How many fish did the boys catch? All right, so I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to put all the boys' fish together. Michael caught 18. Jose caught 12, and Kevin caught 15. All right, I'm going to go ahead and add them all together, and I'm going to add all three numbers together using base 10. How many 10s? 1, 8 1s. How many 10s? 1, 2 1s. 10s, 5 1s. All right. I'm always going to add my 1s first. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I'm going to circle those 10 1s. I'm going to cross them out, and I'm going to bring them next door to my 10s because remember, 10 1s is the same thing as 1 10. How many do I have left? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now I'm going to add my 10s. 1, 2, 3, 4. So how many fish did the boys catch all together? 45. How many more fish did the girls catch than the boys? Well, the girls caught 78, the boys caught 45. If I want to know how many more, what operation am I going to use? I'm going to take away. I want to know how many more did they catch. So I'm going to come over here and use my base 10 strategy to help me solve. How many 10s? 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. How many 1s? 8. What do I always take away first? My ones. I'm going to take away 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 3 is left. I'm going to take away 4 tens. 1, 2, 3, 4. 3 are left. My answer is 33. The girls caught 33 more fish than the boys. All right. I'm going to just go over how to solve these last few questions. I'm not actually going to solve them. You can pause the video and solve if you would like, okay? How many fish did Jose and Kevin catch? Well, I'm going to add Jose plus Kevin because I want to know how many did they catch together, right? Find the sum of the fish caught by all 5 people. What does sum mean? Sum is what happens when you add digits together. So I'm going to add all 5 people together. Who caught fewer fish? Jennifer or Emily? So you're going to tell me who caught the fewest amount of fish. Did Jennifer catch an odd or even number of fish? Remember, what does odd mean? What does even mean? Jose said, I caught we're going to skip 12 because that one's a little blurry. Okay. So what I want you to do is pause the video. After you have solved these last 4 questions, you can play and I will have the answers displayed for you. After you check your answers, you have an assignment that is assigned to you on PowerSchool right beneath the video. You are going to have to answer some questions and analyze data given in a bar and pictograph. Make sure you are using your strategies. Record your work in your math notebook following the example and try your best. See you tomorrow, friends.